Hello everybody and welcome back. It's Michael from embodythestate.com, and in this video, as you already saw in the title, it's going to be about self-concept. And within this video, we're going to talk about beliefs, changing our beliefs and things like that. And it's a topic that is very vital to the community, right? You see it all the time. You see it discussed by different coaches, different teachers, things like that. And self-concept is something that is so simple, but because it's so simple, we overcomplicate it, right? A lot of the times we just think there has to be something more and we have to work harder to feel like we really did something to change. And that's not what manifesting is about. And we're gonna cover this in the video. You know, self-concept is always something that we should all be focusing on, because it really reflects who we are, right? Think about it. Our world does not reflect what we want. It reflects who we are, right? And if you understand what self-concept is, it's just a set of beliefs that you hold about yourself and certain topics, right? And that's why I decided to make this video. And this video is something that's going to benefit a lot of people, and it's especially my clients, right? I've had some recent clients as well, and even some friends that I've been helping, and they're having some troubles with shifting beliefs. And you know, the thing that's really important to remember is it's not about trying to force processes and trying to force feelings and trying to brute force, in other words, certain beliefs in us to try to, you know, trick our subconscious, okay? Manifestation is something so simple. It's something that is very easy to apply, but our brain just doesn't let us believe that, right? Because so much programming. So all I ask from you guys is, if this video teaches you anything valuable and it inspires you in any way, just hit that like button, and that way it'll reach more people and help other people just like it helped yourself. And if you haven't subscribed already, just subscribe and hit that little bell icon, which alerts you when I release the next video. And one thing I want to also mention is, take notes, guys. Like, feel free, if I say anything in any of my videos, like, don't just watch a video, because you're gonna forget what I say, especially my long videos, right? Take your notes, right? Pause if you need to. Take notes, things that really click with you, and return to those notes throughout your day, you know, or you don't have to do it, you know, every day, but just make sure you have notes and that you return to them in your moment of need, okay? So that being said, let's get into the topic. So self-concept, right? What is it? You know, how do we change it, and all that stuff, how it applies to manifestation. So we already know that self-concept is just a set of beliefs that we have, right? We all have beliefs about ourselves, right? I have a belief about money, a belief about my relationships, a belief about how people are in relation to me, beliefs about my brother, my mother, my father, sister, you name it, right? We all have these beliefs, and this is something that is not solid, right? A lot of times we think, my brother is just, passionate about this topic, and every time we have a family dinner, there's a debate and da-da-da. That's a belief in itself, right? Like, you understand that you can change that, and by changing how you view and expect that person to behave and how you've seen them behaving in your inner world, then you realize, you know, they will start reflecting that. And that's what happens to anyone. That's what you do when you manifest an SP. That's what you do when you manifest a raise from your boss or anything, right? You're simply changing how you view life and the lens you're looking at life from. And instead you're focusing on, what would I rather have, right? And how would it feel if I had that? So self-concept, right? And we're going to touch on SP stuff as well, because it's the biggest topic, right? I would say well over 90% of my clients and even my viewers mostly ask about self-concept. The other rest is a mixture of appearance change and finances. And even finances takes the rest of the gap, most of it, right? So keep in mind what I'm going to say. It applies to everything, right? If your goal is to manifest an appearance change or money, just apply what I'm talking about in this video and remove SP or whatever things I talk about in any videos, and just apply the same principles to your desire, your goal, okay? So the thing about self-concept, right? As we all know, it's already a set of beliefs. And when we have these beliefs, and we don't bother changing them, but we're now doing processes in hopes of just getting a reflection to change, you realize you're not really changing yourself, right? You're not really changing your core beliefs. You're not changing who you think you are, right? A person, like if you get two people, right? And they start in the same place with the same knowledge and brand new clean slate. They have no idea what the hell they're doing, right? And you tell them, okay, all you have to do is, if you want to change your beliefs, and this is just going off source material, right? And it might sound simple, because it is, but for me personally as well, and I've tried this, when I try changing a belief, I follow what the greats have taught. It's simply entering the state of the wish fulfilled, in other words, of having my desire and what I think it would feel like to be that person. And when I step into that state of consciousness of what I think it'll be like to be that person, and I truly, in that present moment, and keep in mind, we're not holding this feeling or anything, we're just stepping into that consciousness, right? And within that consciousness comes the feelings afterwards. But we're stepping into what we think would be the feeling, what we think it would feel like to be that person, right? So it doesn't also mean that you have to have these grand emotions, these big feelings and all these things, right? Yes, feelings help, right? So many of the greats talk about this. Even if you study Seth as well, they go into detail on this, on how emotions actually play a big role and they can speed up your actual manifestation, right? And how the negative feelings, although they seem that they manifest fast and easier in our life, it's actually harder to manifest a negative through negative feeling than it is to manifest through positive feeling. And it's kind of reassuring to understand that what you're doing, you know, it's always being like you're protected in a sense. Like if you know that you're gonna have faster results being positive than you will negative, that already like makes me feel better when I found that out a long time ago, right? And hopefully it cheers you guys up, because when you understand that, you know, hey, the way I set up this game, because if you guys study my content, you realize I tell you guys who you are. You are literally a piece of God. You are, in other words, you are an entity, and with that entity has a shell, which is our human self, right? And we get to control that entity, that power that the entity has. This is our higher self, right? And this is why I love teaching manifestation, because when you get to tell people how powerful they are, it's very inspiring when you see their mood click after you explain things to them. And I know you guys are gonna be extremely happy by the end of this video, because I know some of you guys are struggling. But I want you to realize that what you have to do is, and this is what I do, to go back on what I was saying, is if I want to manifest, let's say, money, right? So at one point in my life, I was broke, and now I don't have to worry about the price of anything. I can just spend, you know, $1,000 here, $2,000 there. I can give away $4,000 here and there. It's not a big deal, right? And back, you know, take me back 10 years ago, I would have been like, that's insane. Like, I can't even imagine having a life like that, right? And one thing that I really want you guys to know is that no matter how scary or how, you know, like how nonsensical it is when you're thinking, how am I even gonna make this money? I'm not educated, I don't have this, I don't have that. Don't worry about that, right? And I didn't worry about that. I knew that my job was literally to understand it's not my human self's job to figure out the how, it's to understand that it's already possible because it's already created. And when I step into that feeling of wealth, or that feeling of love, of being loved, right? Of having that relationship, of having that girlfriend, right? Or for you ladies, for having that boyfriend, right? When you do that and you constantly return to it, I guess is the best way to explain it, right? You frequently, as Neville says on chapter 22 of The Power of Awareness, it's about frequently returning to the state of the wish fulfilled. You don't realize it, but you are building a pattern. You are building a habit. You're creating new habits. And you're creating the habit of training your mind, in essence, to understand, hey, when I think of this thing, then I'm going from this place here to there, right? So when you go from here to there, right? That means at one point you had lack, and now at this point you have fulfillment. So you go from being aware of lack and, hey, I want this thing, to boom, I already have it, and how it feels to have it. And when you do that, you then create in that moment that it's not even create, sorry, it's not even the right word, but you step into what is already created. You step into that state that is already there. And what happens when you do that is then you're creating that pattern. You're starting to form that pattern of training your mind of, think of this, go here. And that's all it is. And if you spend 2-3 days of just consistently monitoring your thoughts and understanding how the law operates, you're gonna realize that changing your beliefs and your self-concept is not hard at all. It doesn't require a crazy amount of time. It doesn't require you guys to, you know, do all these processes and waste all this time and just force things and blindly affirm and do all this stuff, right? These are all processes that just take more effort and time than they really should. Think about it. Deciding what you want, once you do that, and then deciding I'm going to manifest it, the way you manifest it is you simply become the one who has it. And when you practice becoming the one who has it throughout the present moments in your day, you're then going to have a fun time, because you realize, oh my God, let's say yesterday I was in the mood to fulfill myself 20 times. And then let's say the next day you're in the mood to fulfill yourself, who knows, maybe 15 times or 30 times, doesn't matter. But if you're consistently fulfilling yourself throughout your day and you're returning to the state of the wish fulfilled, in essence, you may not realize it, but as I mentioned, you are creating those patterns. And when you create those patterns, you are then realizing later on, because you're going to notice your mental diet will change and how easier it is to fulfill yourself. You might even notice that you're starting to believe more, right? And when you start to believe more, it becomes more fun because you realize in that moment, hey, the stuff I've been doing, I'm like naturally doing it now, right? And that's the goal. It's the whole goal, the point of frequently returning to a state is because that state has its own set of beliefs. And when you have your own set of beliefs that you're constantly returning to, that's from that state that holds those beliefs. Remember, every state has a built-in set of beliefs in itself. It's as if you're putting on a suit, right? A suit of armor, just a business suit, it doesn't matter. But when you put that suit on, inside that suit, it has a bunch of beliefs, right? So like imagine you put on a nice suit and then you check the pockets and you a bunch of papers in there. Each paper has a different belief. Like I'm wealthy, I'm in a relationship, I'm this, I'm that. It's just like that, guys, okay? And that's the beauty of changing your beliefs, right? A lot of people think we have to go back in time and do shadow work and heal the inner child. I'm not going to say it's invalid, but to me, it's the longer way to get the same result, right? Like, show me any book from source material. I'm not talking modern day gurus, right? I'm talking source material, Neville Goddard, Emmett Fox, Florence Scovel Shinn, Joseph Murphy, Seth, and that's not even including all the other grades that you can study, right? But show me a book where people are telling you that in source material that you have to go back and heal this inner child and find this hidden subconscious belief that's sabotaging you, right? Seth goes into detail about how that's not even true. And I agree, because I've never had to go back and heal an inner child and do that stuff, right? I didn't learn about that stuff until I was already experienced. And then when I saw that stuff, it already clicked with me. Oh, that's just a different way of doing things, right? Maybe they haven't read the same books I've studied and whatever it may be. I don't know the reasonings, but I understand that people teaching that stuff, they don't have bad intentions. It's just that's what they believe. And I'm telling you, if you study source, which is why I push all my clients, all my viewers to not just watch YouTube videos, but to study source material, they'll realize none of these books tell people to blindly do techniques and to just say things for saying things and that there's some subconscious thing sabotaging them. It's not true, guys, okay? It's only true if you believe it is. And that's the power of the law of assumption. So when you're changing your self-concept and you want to manifest an SP, your job is to go, okay, I am now single and I'm aware of this. It doesn't mean that I have to be single and feel like I'm single now, right? So in this moment, if I was to assume, okay, let's assume I am now in that happy, loving relationship where everything worked out, all the pain and trouble and the trauma and all that stuff that was bothering me is now a thing of the past. If I can look at all the things that are bothering me today from the eyes of the future me, right? I say future me, but it's really the present you in a different reality, because everything's happening now. Remember that creation is finished, and I talk about that in my past videos. But you're kind of looking at your present moment from what your future self, your human self, is going to experience. When you're able to step into that mindset and to really think, hey, how would that version of me look back at today and last week and whatever else, all the bad I felt? How would they really look at life? How would they feel about their problems? And you're gonna find that oftentimes you're not gonna worry. When you switch your mentality and you step into that state of consciousness of, I already have this person, I'm just gonna assume I have it in this moment, I'm not gonna fight it, I'm not gonna use logic, I'm going to step into that assumption that I have that thing that I want, right? And how do I think it would feel like? And you'll notice, you might perk up, you might smile, you might feel grateful, you might even wanna say thank you, right? I often used to say thank you all the time because I already knew creation was finished, right? Early in my journey, I knew it was already done. I just knew I had to see it. And when I even though I didn't see it, I knew that it was already within me. And that's why I could say thank you, because I knew by being thankful, by giving thanks, right? Thanksgiving, I knew that my reflection had to change. And what I was doing in those moments that I wasn't fully aware of at the time in the beginning of my journey was that I was changing my beliefs. I was changing my self-concept, because every time I thought about love or money or any other topic, I went straight to the best case scenario. And I accepted that I already had it and what I thought it would feel like to have it. And that's all I did. And to be honest, within days, my beliefs changed and my world reflected those beliefs, right? And sometimes things come to me when I'm not even in Sabbath. So I don't want you guys thinking you have to have like this 100% conviction and you have to be in Sabbath to manifest at all times. You don't, right? Sometimes you'll enter Sabbath and it'll come. Sometimes you won't and it'll still come. Just understand that everything is working for you. And if you want to change your beliefs, you have to start practicing assuming you already have the thing you want. And that might not make sense based on what your level of knowledge is, based on who you study and what books you read and whatever else, because some people might tell you, oh no, you have to fix your inner child and do this and that, and then, or fix some trauma, and then you can figure out how to manifest this stuff. But you got to realize, when you skip those processes and you go straight to fulfillment, right? How can you be in lack but feel grateful at the same time? In that present moment, you cannot be both. So that's why I tell people, understand that every single present moment, every nanosecond is a chance for you to step into a new state, a state that is already created and will always be there. That's why, that Neville lecture, Infinite States, talks about this. Those states are always there. You can choose to slip in and out of them just as you're walking through cities, right? And every step you take, you can enter a new state. And that's the beautiful part about states. It's you get to select your life. You get to select what it is you want. And when you're selecting the life you want in here, guess what happens, right? You're going to then have the life that you want. And your job is to select the life you want. So in other words, the thought comes in, boom, and then now you're aware, hey, I want my SP. And instead of sitting in that want, you then go to, what would it feel like if I actually had them? Because I know that I am a human aspect of God, right? My entity is God, it's a piece of it, right? And I'm God experiencing being human. And if I am the Almighty, I am the Creator, I can move mountains, and my whole personal reality is based on what I assume and believe of myself and what I dominantly dwell in, then this has to change. And how good does it feel knowing that it has to change? Don't you feel more empowered? Don't you feel great? Don't you feel like strong, as if you can have anything? Money, love, you name it, right? Health, all these things. So I want you guys to really understand, changing your beliefs, in other words, changing your self-concept, is not about doing a bunch of techniques and a bunch of processes and a bunch of hard work. It's literally, what do I want? How would it feel if I had it? And in that moment, accept it, right? When you accept that you have your desire in that moment, because you understand creation is finished, the kingdom of heaven is within us all, and that we get to choose which door, which mansion we enter, right? And when you keep choosing that door that has your desire, you are building the habit of every time you think of your desire, you go straight to fulfillment. And if you monitor your self-concept, you monitor your thoughts throughout the day, for today, tomorrow, after tomorrow, I'm telling you, if you are doing this all day, and I know it might sound tiring to you, but I promise you it's not, but when you do this, it's just as gentle as observing your thoughts, right? And just catching the ones surrounding the topic that you're trying to change in your life, whether love, finances, health, you name it. And anything surrounding that, and you choose to not accept lack, and you only choose to accept that you already have it. Because remember, it's about who you are being that is going to be your future experience, right? And I say future because in human time and human mind, our future is just stuff we're going to experience. But in reality, like I mentioned, it's already happening now. Everything is present now, right? But you just can't see it. Manifestation is just seeing what is already there, right? It's already created. So make the habit of every single time you think of your desires, I want you to go straight to entering the fulfillment of having them already. It might sound overly simple, and that's because it is. When you make the habit of refusing to identify with lack and only identifying with either being indifferent or fulfillment, right? That is when you're gonna notice that, holy crap, maybe today I didn't feel it, but a day later or 2 days later, I started really, really believing it. I started really feeling grateful. I started really finding it easier to enter that state of fulfillment. And when you do that, you'll start realizing, oh my God, it really is this easy. And then your brain is gonna start going, oh my God, if it's this easy for this, then imagine all the money I can get, imagine this stuff I can get, or imagine helping a family member out, right? That's the beauty of self-concept. It's just beliefs that we hold. And there's so many ways to change your beliefs, but I just stick to what the masters teach. And that's about choosing who you are being in present moments throughout your day. When you practice who you are being in present moments throughout your day, and you return to that identity, that state of consciousness, that awareness, and you do it over and over and over again, you are in essence training your mind to make the habit of returning to that, as I mentioned already, right? And guess what happens when you do that enough times, right? And when I say that, I don't want you thinking, oh, I have to spam this and do it now to make it permanent. Do it only when you're in the mood. But if you're like me and sometimes you're in the mood for like a whole day where you're just thinking about your desire, just pick moments in the day, like little pockets, just pull them out of the sky, pluck them out, and just decide, oh, fulfillment here. Oh, I'm thinking of SP. it's already mine, right? How does it feel knowing I get to go home to them? And then I let my body and my mind answer, and boom, just then and there, like just when I said that, I literally had like tingles in my chest because I'm thinking of my girlfriend, right? And going home to her and stuff like that, like it makes me feel loved. It makes me feel, in other words, like I'm in a relationship, which I am, right? Remember, I felt what I have now before I had it, right? And even Joe Dispenza goes into this, and I love how he says it. He says that you have to feel the reality of your future before you experience it if you want to have the fastest results, right? And I tend to agree because, even though he doesn't call it the law and he doesn't really use the same lingo that we use, he's describing the law to a T. He's just doing it on a scientific level, right? You guys have to understand, you guys are powerful. You guys can have anything you want in this world, and the only thing stopping you is the limitations that you place on yourself. I don't want you guys thinking that changing your beliefs and self-concept is a hard, long process. It's really not. It could take days, it could take a single day, it could take a week, it could take 2. Who cares? Your job is to enjoy the process. If you know that no matter what, you will get your way, then does it matter then the time between now and getting it? No, it shouldn't. It should allow you to enjoy the roses, right? Smell the roses, enjoy the scenery, have fun with this because it's a game. And when you finally get your manifestation, I want you to really look back at what you did, how you felt, how frequently you were returning to the state, how many times did you identify with lack versus not. Monitor these things, guys, okay? Because I don't want you guys to just do processes thinking, okay, guys, I'm gonna do this process. And then the rest of the time that I'm not fulfilling myself or returning to it, I'm then going to focus on, where is it? Why is she not messaging me? Why is he not messaging me, right? Or why is the money still not in my bank account? How come I didn't get a promotion? Why is this falling apart? Why did this get worse, right? Keep in mind, these are all little distractions, right? It's just little, it's the devil in your ear, right? You have to be able to, no matter what, when you see, even if your world is falling apart around you, you have to have faith and conviction in God and who you are and your power, that your whole world is a reflection of your inner reality. Because if you let that 3D trip you up, you are then using the law against yourself, because then you are looking with your senses, which is the opposite of what Neville says, right? And that's why he says deny your senses. But you are then going to look at things with your senses. You're going to let it make you feel bad. And in turn, you're going to keep manifesting a cycle where things keep making you feel bad. And then you're going to doubt and you're going to question if this works. And, oh, maybe it just doesn't work for me. Maybe I have too much resistance. No, guys. It's you that are creating that resistance. It's not that the goal itself is hard, right? Manifesting big sums of money is no different than manifesting the ladder that Neville used to make all his students climb as a test, the famous ladder challenge, right? And it's so simple. When I love how when he told people when they arrived, like, hey, what if I told you manifesting $1 million is just as simple as you guys climbing that ladder that you manifested? He was telling you guys it's your human limit. You think that a certain number is big. Like if you've never had 10,000 in your bank account, you're gonna think, oh my God, if I have 10,000, like that's crazy. I've never been there. And you might even have beliefs, which is part of your self-concept, of money is hard to get. That, how am I gonna even get 10,000? I'm not educated. I'm not this. I'm not that. Who cares? Can you feel what you think it would feel like to actually have that security in your bank account? And if so, that right there was the state of the wish fulfilled. Whether it's indifference, which is a feeling in itself, as Neville says, or it's a state of fulfillment, a joy, gratitude, happiness, relief, right? For me, relief is a big one. And whatever it may be, you realize by stepping into that, you have now changed. In that present moment, you have stepped into new beliefs. And that's what a state is. A state holds its own beliefs. So that's why I tell you guys, you can't be fulfilled and be in lack at the same time. The only thing I want you guys to do is when you enter fulfillment, don't hold it. Like you don't have to force it. Just enjoy it for as ever long as it lasts. And then let yourself go back to your default dwelling state. But once you're in that neutral mode again, do not start looking for signs or movement or wondering where it is or if it worked. Feel proud and happy that you did enough, right? How good would it feel knowing the rest of the day that what you continue to do is actually working for you, that everything is working in your favor, that you are literally, every step you take is getting you closer to the bridge. It's inevitable. And if you start living as if it's inevitable that you will experience your inner world in your outer reality, then you kind of realize, I don't have to have this fear. And by changing your self-concept, by returning to the state of the wish fulfilled over and over and over again, it makes it easier for you to then get into the state the next time and the next time and the next time. And in essence, you're placing down, little stepping stones, and you're creating a bridge for you to cross. And every time you fulfill yourself, think of yourself as adding more, more steps for you to step on, right? And you're helping yourself yourself. Because I'm telling you guys, like, I don't say this to just BS you guys. You guys are literally gods of your reality. You are the creators of your reality. You are the director, you are, the actor, you are everything. Think about it. You write the scripts, you hand them out to people, and they have to play the roles that you give them. So if you're manifesting an SP and you are thinking to yourself, how am I gonna get them? I don't even have the money to take them out. Or maybe there's prettier girls than me, and he's already seeing someone, or she's already seeing someone, and that person's way better than me. That's your self-concept. That's your belief. And guess what? How do you change that? You start jumping to the state of already having her back, and you neglect the how, you neglect the logic, you neglect the 3D reasoning that your mind so badly wants to get stuck on. And trust me when I say this, make it a habit of just trusting yourself, trusting that the law works, that you have God within you, and that through the Almighty, you can manifest these changes, right? So when you go from, oh, they're dating someone so much better than me, I don't have the qualifications for them or that job or whatever, right? Go to already having it. What do you think it would feel like if you had it, right? And whatever that answer is, return to that throughout your day. Find pockets, little spaces to enter that throughout the day, and then the rest of the time, either be neutral and try your best to not go into lack. The less you go into lack, in my opinion, at least from my experience, the faster things have come for me, because there's less resistance, right? It's like, why give yourself a yellow light and slow yourself down when you can just be like a fire truck, right? And they have that sensor that makes the lights go green. Just like, so it's the same thing. Keep that sensor on, make the lights go green, just bop, 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 one at a time, and just keep going and going and going and going. And that's why so many people, when they truly dedicate themselves to the law and they realize, oh my God, all I have to do is accept that I have this reality, that this is already who I am, and because it exists within me, it has to appear without. Oh my God, that's so simple. And that's how easy it is to change your beliefs, guys. I know it might sound easier, like it's too easy. And it's because it is. Changing your beliefs is not hard. It just takes practice. Think about it. Who here that's watching has actually sat there and said, for the next 3 days, I'm going to 100% mental diet. Every single thought regarding my goal, I'm going to catch it. And I'm going to then make it what I want it to be, right? A lot of you can't say yes, right? And some of you might say, yeah, I've done that, which is good. Keep going, right? It should be something you do all the time until you get your desire. But for those of you that haven't, give it a try. I'm telling you, give me 7 days of just strict mental diet and come back and tell me what you noticed in the comments, okay? Tell me what you felt change within you, because I'm telling you, if you are strict with yourself and you promise yourself for 7 days you are not going to return to lack, at least as often as you can, and instead you're going to be neutral and enjoy your life, and in the rest of the time you're going to be returning to the state of the wish fulfilled, right? And when you go from here to there, right, you're building that habit, as I mentioned, and that habit becomes who you are. And guess what your reality is? It's a reflection of who you are, and it's your job to understand, I am not this person who doesn't have my desires anymore. I am not this person who is struggling anymore. I'm not this person who needs money, who needs love, and this and that. If you are seeking love, you will always be seeking it. But if you are loved, you will get love, right? That's how I got my recent SP, right? I simply embodied the state of being loved. I embodied the state of being the boyfriend. And I did it over and over again throughout the day in a fun, pleasant way. And I didn't even entertain doubt once, because I know the law works, because I've seen it happen time and time again. If you guys saw all the success stories I get, like, that's the one benefit, like one of the many benefits of being, someone that teaches the law, is I get to see the things that I teach work for other people. And when I see it working for other people, it makes me even more inspired, because it's like, oh, I know for sure I'm on the right track, because if it works for me and it's working for them, then even the goals that I might see as scary become so small. And that's what it is. It's about making those big things small by understanding you already have them, and your beliefs can be changed by simply assuming you have something and returning to it over and over again. And yes, your programming is going to fight you. Yes, your programming is going to say, wait a minute, no, you don't have this. It's not who you are. Nothing's changing. You've been doing this for X amount of time. But ask yourself, have I been strict? And if the answer is no, take a sigh of relief, because then you realize, okay, I haven't given this 100% my best shot, so let's do it. Let's spend 7 days purely mental dieting. No lack, just fulfillment, or being neutral, period. And you're gonna notice by the end of 7 days, maybe even earlier, you're gonna have a different set of beliefs. You're gonna start feeling better about your goals. You're gonna start feeling more inspired. You might even start feeling you have it already. And that's when you can be rest assured that it's game over. Like, it's right around the corner. And, it's just, I don't want you guys thinking that this is something that's so hard to change, right? If you study source material, they will tell you a fast way to enter enter a new set of beliefs is by instantly identifying with them, right? So even if I know, let's say I'm broke, right? And I want to manifest let's say I don't know, a car that's $500,000, right? And I only have $1 in my bank account. If I trust the law and I know that I am God having a human experience, and I know that my personal reality is my own creation, then why on earth would I not be able to get that car? I don't have to know the how, but in order to go from the poverty mindset to wealth is I go straight to having that car. When I think of that car, it's already in my garage. When I think of that car, it's already mine. And I see myself pulling up to restaurants and seeing, and obviously if you drive a car like that, I know as a male, I'm going to get female attention because that shows status, right? That's just society. And I know even some males will be like, holy crap, what do you do for a living? Show me how to get that. How do I become you? Trust me, that's stuff you'll hear when you start getting money and people start seeing that you spend money like nothing and whatever, because they want that life, right? And the only thing you had to do to get that life was you had to start practicing experiencing it, start practicing being that person that has that life in here, and you'll feel it too, right? And when that becomes a habit, it becomes then who you are. And when it becomes who you are, you have then replaced the old programming. In other words, you have left the old state behind and you died to it. Just like in my last video, The Art of Dying, you officially died to your old self and you gave birth to your new self. So I want you guys to remember that, guys. It's not about trying to, force techniques and try to find some things sabotaging you. It's about understanding who you are and what it is that you want, and then giving it to yourself again and again and again and again, and just having fun with it, knowing that you are the creator, knowing that it's already who you are, knowing that it is done, creation is finished, and there is nothing on earth that can stop you but you, okay guys? So one other thing before I wrap this up is I want you to also sit down with a piece of paper, right? You can also sit down and write down all your beliefs, good or bad, about the topic you're manifesting. Whether it's SP, whether it's money, whether it's a promotion, whether it's health, you name it, and pick your current beliefs of yourself. Oh, I believe I'm unhealthy. Oh, I believe, I need to have a clear, whatever, like a clear skin somewhere, or you have a rash on your arm, and oh, because of that, a guy or girl won't like me. Doesn't matter. Write those beliefs down and find all the bad beliefs you have. And I even put this in my workshop, right? For those of you that have my workshop, this is why I put that exercise there, because it's such a great thing to show you your flaws. And when you start seeing all the bad stuff you list about yourself, and then you take that list and you write the complete opposite of them, and then you start feeling as if they were true, trust me, it's going to become who you are. You're changing your beliefs around those topics. And when you start doing that, you're going to start feeling better. You're going to start feeling happier. You're going to start feeling more proud. And you might even start noticing your 3D shift a lot sooner than you expect, okay guys? So this is not the last video I'm going to make about self-concept. I even feel like I didn't even cover everything I wanted to cover because, to be honest, self-concept, I could make like an 8-hour video on it, to be honest. So I'm going to bang out a bit more videos on self-concept this year as well, so don't worry. But I got out what needed to get out. I gave you guys what you guys need to hear. It's just the practice of returning to the state of the wish fulfilled and nothing more. And when you can practice that, and when you can make the habit of returning to these new beliefs, just temporarily in the present moment, I'm telling you, it's going to get easier and easier, and then your world is going to start changing. You don't have to, do all this, spend all this money on going to like meditation classes and going to resorts and things like that to do all these processes. Think about it. You could do it from a dungeon, right? And like Neville says, even if you're in jail serving 25 years, you can manifest your freedom if you can believe that you are free within. If you can look at your jail cell and those bars and still feel free, then your world has to reflect that. And you have to trust that your world has no choice but to reflect that. But if you don't, in other words, if you don't allow your inner world to be the more dominant thing that you trust in versus your 3D senses, then you're going to be stuck, right? And a lot of you people that are watching this might have realized this by now. And I don't want that for any of you guys, okay? So that being said, thank you guys for tuning in, and if you're still watching, let me know what the next videos you want me to cover, okay guys? And for those of you that are still here, trust me, I'll read your comments and stuff like that. Whatever topic you want me to discuss in further detail, let me know. I always write them down and stuff like that, and I have so many more videos to release, so I hope you guys like this one. And just remember, hit that like if you haven't already, subscribe if you haven't already, that's all I ask. If you guys need any help of any kind, you already know where to reach me. Link is going to be in the description, embodystate.com. I love you all very, very much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys again, okay? Take care.